Hello, everyone. So today we're gonna make a discussion about basically our config files of server and client. This is probably gonna be a short video because I'm gonna be honest. Right now, I just think it's a good idea that you guys imagine it as kind of magic, just magic that is happening behind the scenes. Just copy this code. Don't worry that much about it. I'm going to try to explain a few things here and there, but I don't think we're going to waste a lot of time into those inner details of networking because this is not actually a networking tutorial. This is more like how to make a AAA game tutorial. And networking is just a step to make a AAA game. Okay, so it's kind of like that. Um, I like to say AAA, and I don't know why, but I think it makes sense. Anyways, even though it's wrong. But who cares, right? Like, let's move forward. Okay, and I think I am transition my OBS. Did I transition my OBS? Let me just see. I need to click here. Yep. No, I'm not transitioning. Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna do it manually. Fuck it. We're gonna do it live. Anyways, moving forward. So first of all, I know this is a scary file. This is like the client modular file that we created. I think on video two, but you guys don't need to worry that much about it. It is on the repo, so you guys can probably follow along, and you can probably just copy this code. So don't worry much about it. Don't worry about this struct neither, because this is just a struct that we're going to explain. I'm going to probably explain later. But here is the main guy, the guy we're going to discuss. So this is basically Lightyear magic, and you guys need to imagine as so. Okay, it's going to return a bunch of plugins. If you want to know exactly the plugins, what they do, what they act, yeah, you just need to go into definitions, and you can clearly see what each plugin does. Oh, say client diagnostics, computer diagnostics, which is basically like logs thing, and oh, replication receive plugin. It's gonna replicate. Oh my god. Replication send plugin was basically like when we are doing something called client replication, which is more specific. But that actually doesn't matter. Now that actually doesn't matter right now. Just imagine it as Lightyear magic. Okay. Maybe later when we are really finishing up our game, we are actually going to enter more into those details. But right now they are really not that important. Netconfig. What is netconfig? Okay, first of all, again, imagine this is magic that is happening behind the scenes of Lightyear. Don't actually think about like that much about it. It's really specific network things. Like for example, you have authentication, which is basically the key that client needs to send to server so he can enter servers. Who can actually enter server? So if a client doesn't send that authentication method, or he's not validated by server, or he's not eco in this case, probably server is gonna say no, no, not for you. You're not gonna enter here. Okay, so that's basically like what authentication does. So when we do this off here, it's basically that. IO config. It's way more complicated. To be completely honest, just Google it if you guys want to understand the like behind the scenes here. It actually defines the socket, the Universal Domain Protocol, which is UDP, which is extremely specific stuff where it was like the way we're going to transmit our information, and it's kind of like networking things, like web networking, really. So I just recommend that you guys run away from this right now. And config here is basically like if we're going to use Steam, because Lightyear actually makes it available for you, or you're going to use netcode, which is basically like a simulation. Or actually, netcode can be valuable to can be used in anything, but it's basically when you want to make an independent server, okay, not associated with something like Steam servers or anything like that. Okay, client config itself is basically like again, some sort of magic from Lightyear. It was defined by Lightyear. All this code is on Lightyear. You don't need to worry that much about it. If you want to understand better, Rink is your boy. I'm not your boy in this case. I'm just gonna say, watch a few tutorials if you want to understand everything. Shared, we're going to pass exactly the shared config that we built it here. Okay, so basically, we're gonna pass that because it's something that we both know that the tick rate and the ticking interval needs to be the same between server and client, which was the thing that we defined here, right? And also need to define like the replication rate because client can also replicate from time to time, and also we need to define the mode, which is basically like we are not going to run things together. So that's basically what this guy is doing. And net config is also is all this magic right here, which is, let's just see it that way, okay? So here you're gonna notice, like on the core client plugin, which is a plugin that we made ourselves, okay? You're gonna notice this commentary here, which is saying, oh, it's a centralization plugin. What does he do? What does he that? So basically, this guy is gonna be our client, and everything correlated to client is gonna be on this folder, right? And since he's our client and he's running independently from other plugins, like for example, he's not going to run with the server plugin, because if we pass the keyword server here, you can see here CLI pairs, which basically means like this guy is going to grab the keyword server or the keyword client. If we pass the keyword client, we're going to run the core client plugin in our app. So the app is going to basically import this plugin and run him as a standalone, okay? And if we pass server, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to run it as a standalone. But the thing is about client is that he doesn't actually need he actually needs a lot of things. So for example, he needs all the default plugins like everything that is to have in Bevy, probably because you are going to do animations, you're going to do rendering. He's usually responsible to do those tasks. When it comes to server, you're going to notice that he doesn't do that. He only has the states plugin and the minimal plugins, which I think it only contains like Windows. I don't know what exactly are the minimal plugins, but I think it's just the division plugins. I think there's not a lot of plugins going on here. It's just basically the window plugin, so you see actually a window or something like that. I'm not even sure if window plugin is here. Oh, you can see here like schedule runner and time plugin. Yeah, you can see exactly what are of that. But usually they are really not that, like you're the basics that you need to actually run Bevy. And also you can see the login plugin, which is basically like what type of logs we're going to have on server. In this case, I think we only care about the info. And I think I'm going to be honest, in client, we're also probably going to only care about the info. I'm just using the buggy to check out if everything's connecting. Okay. Uh, and that's pretty much it, right? And we also have the build server plugin, which I'm going to be honest, is really similar to the client plugin. Really similar. You're going to notice that we pass shared config again because it's shared configurations. And here, he actually has a net, he actually has a replication type, the amount of intervals that we should send. And it's actually those kind of key informations that actually stole it from shared. I don't know why exactly, like we don't need that on the client. Might be a mistake. I'm not sure if client config actually config that. Let me just check if the circuit client config contain that. I think it does, and I think we should be equal here. Or like replication, does it contain the replication type? Let me check it out live. Yeah, it does. Yeah, if you're going to do client replication, I'm pretty sure you need to place this replication config. Yeah, I think it was a kind of a typo here, but it's probably because he wasn't doing client replication. So that's why he didn't leave it here. But anyways, if you want to, like, you're gonna notice they are pretty fucking similar because usually they are almost the same. I think that was the idea of Brewinky, that if you wanted to make like a client authority kind of thing, you could actually try to do it, but I'm not sure if it's possible. But it looks like he tried to do something like that. But I don't know. So basically, it's the same guy as client config. So I'm not gonna waste time into it. It's basically the same guy. There is nothing different here. If you want to configure something that's going to be shared among client and server, remember use shared config because shared config is going to tell you exactly a lot of configurations, a lot of specific configurations that you might want to utilize. Like for example, if you want to like just define like I don't know, like for example, you just want to define like an input delay or something like that. You can do it here with shared config. Okay, but usually it's just a centralization kind of thing. Again, magic. Imagine it's magic. Okay, and here on the core server plugin, you're going to have like the minimal plugins, which is basically the minimal bases that we need to run, a log plugin, which is log plugin, and we are going to, of course, building all the server plugins which are necessary to actually run a server in Bevy in line tier. So it's going to be a lot of servers here. And I think that's pretty much it. And here we have core shared plugin, which is like a plugin specific for building stuff. Um, I'm going to show this guy probably in the next video, which is basically like I'm importing here because it's probably a function that I want to both run in server and client. Probably something like that. And here is like just start server, which is basically gonna start our server. It's really easy to see. It's just a command from Lightyear itself. Okay, it's not the commands from Bevy. There's essentially you guys notice that it's basically just this guy here. It comes from this guy probably, and this command is gonna have this extra function that's gonna say start server, which basically is gonna do this. It's gonna start the server itself. Um, I think this is the last video when it comes to like to actually configuration. You're also gonna see here he's gonna break, and that's probably because I was playing around with Bevy GUI. Again, I don't have any problem in actually, showing the bugs and mistakes that I make. This is kind of like a learning journey for me too, like to actually grab the key concepts of it, you know. But it's probably something like that. You see, as we were running minimal plugins, he probably couldn't grab the window or something like that. I think it's something stupid like that. Yeah, it's probably we can even actually grab Word because you don't have Word available, which was the case. So probably we're going to make server default. We're going to make the server a little more tanky. And here we can have that we have a client, and you're gonna see that he actually connects automatically to our server. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, for now, this is video 2.2. A little more fast paced. I just want to make sure that this is like I'm a little tired of this kind of like infrastructure kind of thing. This is also like the code's already there. If you guys want to know, you can just know it by yourself. You don't need me. So thank you guys for the attention, and let's move forward to the part that matters. Like code, actual code. Yeah, finally. But that will be in the next video. See ya.